So what's going on with you, man? What a crazy week in the news and the headlines and politics and culture. It just never stops.
No, it just seems like it ramps up more and more every day.
Yeah, it's just completely insane.
Look, I mean, the elephant in the room has got to be Afghanistan right now.
Of course.
How in the world do you screw something up this bad?
No plan. No plan. Not sure you care, and no plan. I mean, I don't know what to say. This is crazy. Everyone's been trying to get out for years. I mean, this is Trump tried to negotiate with these folks. Obama tried to negotiate with these folks. And in hindsight, you feel like, well, maybe this was the thing. It's like we keep scaling down to because we started this mess. We're stuck with this mess. We keep scaling it down. We end up with what, 2,500 to 3,500 troops basically running airports and fixing machinery. But everyone's scared because we're right there. But once we're out of the equation, man, these people didn't waste a day.
Nah, not at all. And again, you hear differing reports on how they were training or things like that. But the overall point that I would want to make on this one is we're not good at this.
That's an understatement.
Not good at this. Like, stop doing this. Please stop. We're great at going in and breaking stuff. Declare war, break stuff, and then leave right away and let them deal with it themselves. It's this whole the arrogance of our political leaders to think that they can actually do this stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand it. And the other thing is I don't want to go down a conspiracy road on this per se. I just feel like the Biden administration almost did this on purpose.
I mean, obviously it's conspiratorial at that point, but yeah. I feel like it was treated as sort of like just a thing to do. Like it was no big deal to go ahead and try to shut it all down. Like it just seemed like it was just sort of a, yeah, go ahead and do that. It'll work out. It's fine. Get our people, it was just sort of flippantly like addressing the room. Like no one said, well, this is the plan. This is the timeline. This is how we'll get our state people out. This is how we'll get our, embedded people out. We'll do it. Right now, it's just a complete free for all.
And now we have Taliban with MRAPs.
With all sorts of stuff. So let me ask you a question. This is really talk about conspiracy theory. How long does this even stay in the news cycle? If it continues to feel this bad for Biden, the press will already start changing the narrative probably by the weekend and try to shift back to COVID, try to shift to something else. So how long until it's even like in the news? It'll still be going on, but reality is the attention span, the news cycle, the ratings and all that will just move on to something else. A month?
I think it's going to last longer than that. The influence that the military industrial complex has on our mainstream media is such that they will keep this in the headlines for a long time moving forward. Again, I might be wrong. But when you look at media, mainstream, or not mainstream, but corporate media has been going all after Biden. A lot of it has been going after Biden. And that's the ones that have the neocon influence or whatever you want to call it. But this is the weird thing, though, because he screwed up a whole bunch of stuff. I don't disagree with him leaving Afghanistan, but at least get our own people out first. Like, you're going to leave 10,000 Americans there? Like, and all the people that helped us along during the years, like, and you left the Taliban with MRAPs and Cobra helicopters. Like,
yeah.
But to answer your question, I think it's going to last in the news a lot longer than this. And this for sure is going to cost. There is no doubt in my mind now that the Republicans will take back the House and the Senate in 2022 because the picture of the helicopter going off the pad, like it was in Saigon, is going to be in every attack ad for every Democrat that's running for office.
And the people hanging on the wings of the plane and all of that. I mean, it just reeks of just horrible. Listen, Daniel's left some comments here. Sorry we couldn't get to him right away, Daniel. Hopefully you'll bounce, keep with this man. And it's just nuts. It's like he says, enjoy $5 gas. He says, he leaves a whole bunch of comments. He goes, man, basically referring to Biden, calling him some different names here. Basically just like gross some genitalia, man. Just this is nuts, Biden. What are you doing? You're out. Biden sucks. Biden is crap. And it's just he just keeps going on, just completely unloaded. And you look, hey man, everyone feels this way, right? Everybody feels like, it's difficult because I talked to some folks at work about it, and one guy in particular, and it's hard to have this conversation. I said, I don't want to be the guy who seems like I ever wanted to be there to begin with. I didn't want my idea, because I was the brainwashed quasi neocon back with Iraq, and it was like, well, I thought we were going to war, lay waste, and leave. And then it's very quickly, well, that was not what we're going to do. But now we're trapped there because you've got this whole Middle East terrorist networks where you've got all these different factions, like a scale and gradient of what they're willing or capable of doing. And we try to negotiate with these people now for over a decade. And the very moment they have any glimpse of power, they seize all the armaments that we left there, billions of dollars of equipment, Apache helicopter. I've seen stuff about drones. I mean, the amount of stuff that these people may have access to. Pakistan is already rolled over because Pakistan is not going to risk having all this stuff grow up in their state. And then you have India, who's already raising their hand, going, wait a minute, I can't have the Pakistanis and the Afghanis ganging up on us again. It will not take long. Libya is still a Mad Max zone, as far as I know. I don't know if you know any differently. Syria will be on fire by the end of the week. The Russians and Iranians will be lobbying for who can control the port. It's literally Mad Max 2021 with video footage, and just your heart breaks for all the humans that are involved. Really, really does.
Yeah, no, it does. It's a sad state of affairs. It's, look, yeah. The funny thing about it is that I understand your point of, like, I didn't want to be there to begin with. So everything that's going on now, it's hard to have an argument or a conversation about everything that's gone on up to this point and what we should do moving forward without having to explain that it's almost like I don't want to sit here and argue with someone over whether we should have pulled out or shouldn't have pulled out, considering that the whole course of action that led up to this point was wrong and that we needed to do something differently than how we actually accomplished it. And also is that, just like with Vietnam, the polling of the American people was such that we wanted to pull out at this point. So he felt like he had safe cover in order to do that. And he did do it at that point. Don't get me wrong. It's looking really bad right now. But the fact that it's looking bad right now, if you're right, Brandon, and this thing's out of the news in 30 days, no problem. No harm, no foul to him. But if you were a person that was in a foreign country, please learn that you should never trust us. Please stop trusting America. Please stop thinking that we're going to follow through on all this stuff. We didn't do it to the Kurds in Iraq. We didn't do it to the Iraqis that stood up after the first Desert Storm.
Yep.
We've done this. Oh, we didn't do it to the Iranians. There's so many people we've screwed over that why would you want to trust us at this point?
And definitely when you switch political parties and leadership, it's just not gonna hold. Listen, we brought him in, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Gentlemen,
from the co-founding of the Global Dispatch, back to the Desk O'Brien era. Now the editor-in-chief of Outbreak News Today, the worm and germ guy himself, Robert Harriman. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Wanted to test the waters with a 3-person thing after about 8 minutes of not being able to figure out my microphone situation. I think we finally got it running. Hopefully you're having better luck in your world with streaming.
Yep, I sure did. Yep.
So we've been That's fantastic. So we've been talking, obviously, Afghanistan, the elephant in the room, the debacle, just dominating the airwaves. Basically, we went from fear porn to human tragedy porn. CNN and all of them can't get over themselves. So what do you think, and how do you think the news cycle will handle this just through the weekend, let alone through the next month?
Well, I think Fox is going to keep on bashing Biden for good reason. And I think the other stations are going to try to prop him up the best they can. They're going to continue to say it was Trump's plan. And none of them, none of the 3 big cable news stations are going to say, yeah, 20 years and the Afghan army folded like a deck of cards in a matter of days, maybe weeks. What was another 10 years going to do, or another 50 years going to do? It was always going to be the same. So to me, it's very clear we should have been gone a long time ago.
All right, so I'm the nerd among us. So let me tell you guys a story of there's a comic book guy that I listen to. He's independent publishing now, but he is military from 2008 to 10. He was basically in the Empire Graveyard doing tours, and he was talking about the ANA, the Afghan National Army, and his interactions. And he says it's worse than like a JV squad. It was like pirates. They'd be mad. They'd leave for like 3 months, go and plant crops. They would refuse to just do certain things. They were on a patrol at the base of this river, and then they look over, and the Afghan group, they're all over there just playing in the water. Like there was no sense of serious. This is like over the course of, let's say, this was probably right before, about the turn of Obama's administration, the first couple of years. So we've obviously been there for a while, and there's no seriousness, there's no commitment, there's no sense of the military or your commitment and obligation like we have. So if we couldn't convey that within those first few years, was there ever really a chance, Alex? I mean, you were in the Marines, you served your time. You weren't just going to be allowed to just disappear for 3 months and go plant some crops, or just refuse, hey, I'm not going to work today.
You couldn't do it for an hour, let alone a day.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't. No, I mean, look, and I wasn't in during that time frame in which we were over there. So I got out in 01, just before everything went south. So, when it comes to the training aspect, I wasn't there for that part, but it didn't sound like that these people took to it very well. And you can't take what we do in America and try to teach that to another country, to people in that country. They don't live the same way. Look, they had to go do their crops because in their mind, their crops is their life. So you have to do, in their minds, they have to do things like that. Now the plane in the water is a different story, but there's certain things that they would have to do that's what they've been doing for hundreds of years. Their dads and granddads and great granddads did it before they did. And for us to try to inject, our, America over there, it was never going to work.
Yeah. Let me piggyback on that. I mean, we spent $83 billion just on training over time, $83 billion. And clearly these soldiers had no loyalty to the country. None. Absolutely none.
Yeah. It's
a
mess now, because now we.
I want to say one thing. They had no loyalty to the current government, which was corrupt all day long. Mm-hmm. They said, let the Taliban be in charge then. And they didn't fight them. They just let them be in charge.
They left. The president evacuated.
Even watch the videos of the airplane taking off and all these people running after the airplane. Mm-hmm. All men. I don't know. Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen a few videos, and I've seen little girls pleading with the soldiers. They know women and single women, little girls, they know what's coming. And it's like, please just get me on the other side of the fence. Just get me on your side of the fence. So at least I have that much hope. And it's just awful. So